Have you ever wondered how you can add structure to the bust area of your bustier, not a corset? You can do this by boning the bust area just like I have done for this. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ayomide, and on this channel you would find sewing tutorials and pattern drafting tutorials. In this tutorial, I'm going to be sharing how I was able to add structure to the bust area of this bustier blouse that I'm working on. If you want to learn how to do this, then you should see this video up until the very end, and also subscribe if you haven't done already. To get started, I've got my patterns right here, and it is an off-shoulder bustier pattern. I have numerous tutorials on my YouTube channel on how you can draft an off-shoulder bustier pattern and also a princess dart pattern, and I'm going to be putting the link in the description box. So guys, I'm going to be cutting this on my fabric and also on the lining. So for this, the main fabric I'm working on is a velvet material, which I have gone ahead to cut out already, and I'll proceed to my sewing machine and stitch it down by the sides. I also have the lining also, and I've gone ahead to interface the lining just like I did for the main fabric. I'm going to be stitching the lining also together, and it is on this lining I'm going to be doing the bust caging. So guys, I'm done sewing this down. This is my lining, this is what I have. You would also need to give this a really good press, meaning you're going to iron open all of your seam lines. This is also the main fabric also, even though I didn't really work with this later on in this tutorial. My focus was just on the lining. I'm going to be using a 7mm Regilene boning. It's not up to half an inch actually, so it's really quite small, and that's what I'm going to be using for this. The first thing I will need to do is to draft out where I want the boning to be around the bust area. And before even going over to do that, you would want to make sure you notch open your underbust region, so make sure that that region is free. So for the very first boning, I want it to start from this side of my side front, going all through the underbust, across the center front, and then ending at the other part of the side front. I would also have another one coming up a little bit higher and following through the same pathway or the same angle in which the first one is going to go through. I would also have another one from the center front region ending at the sides on both sides of this pattern. I'm also going to be sewing one along my seam lines too. To move on, I've gone ahead to secure one end of my boning with a masking tape, and the very next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sewing the boning on the lining, and I'm starting with the seam lines. So I'm just going over to place my presser foot along the edge of the boning. There's a clear part along the edge of the boning that allows you to easily sew on. So you would want to do this gently so that your thread does not cut. So that is how I'm going to be fixing the boning on the lining. Once I'm through with one side of the bone, I'm going to be switching over to the other end so that I can also secure it down. So you will need to be sewing on the both sides of your boning, and I've done likewise for my either seam. At this stage you can stop if you are okay with this effect. However, if you want to continue, then come along with me and let's see the outcome of this process. The very next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sewing it around the side. So for this, I'm going to be starting from the side front region, take it along the underbust all the way through the center front. So you, like I always been saying, you would have to be careful so your thread does not cut, just like mine did just now. So I'm just going over to sew it across from one side front to the other side front, and because this is not straight, because it is curvy, you would want to be very gentle while you do this. So I'm going to be repeating this process one more time. I'm taking my boning a few inches above the previous one I just did, and I'm just going over to sew it down. When it comes to sewing on top of the other boning, you can either sew it gently or skip. Yes, you can skip the boning. When you have to sew one boning on top of another, you can just skip. Guys, I had to loosen the very first bowing that I saw across the underbust region, and that's because I wanted it to start a little bit higher to give a sort of a push-up effect. So I'm going to be placing the bowing a bit higher this way and take it across the underbust. This was where I placed it initially, but now I'll take it higher a little bit, take it across the underbust, and then end it at the other area of the side front. And I've gone ahead to do likewise, and this is what I have. The next thing I'll do is to take it from one side seam all across to the center front, and also take it from the other seam and end it at the center front. This is the outcome of this tutorial. This is what it looks like on the right side. You can see how enhanced this bustier looks compared to initially without the boning. Bear in mind that you can use this process to enhance the bust area of your dress without necessarily going through the process of drafting a corset. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below. And until my next tutorial, guys, stay blessed.